Am I the arsehole? Real stories, raw judgments. You decide. This story is from someone who has asked to remain anonymous. Hello everyone. It's my first time posting anything here, and English is not my first language. Please keep in mind I have been crying for the past 2 days, so sorry for any mistakes. Me, 24 and female, and my boyfriend, 24 and male, have been together for almost 4 years. We get along okay for the most part. Instances like him losing something of mine have happened, but never to this level. I've had my dog Milo, who's 12 and a female, for her whole life. We grew up together, and it's really hard for her to trust other people. She has always been an anxious girl, but she is the light of my life and was always by my side, even in my worst days. 3 years ago, I introduced my boyfriend to my family, which is just my mum and Milo. He and my mum got along okay, but he did not acknowledge Milo in any way, which is fine. I did not expect him to be all over her, considering she does not even like that. But I still found it pretty strange, because he said he absolutely loved dogs, and to be honest, I believe that because he would always pet dogs when we were outside. Any interaction for the past 3 years with her was limited, but Milo soon warmed up to him. She would greet him, go to him for pets, and accepted him on our daily walks. 1.5 years ago, Milo got sick. She had a pretty bad tooth infection, and her whole right eye was swollen shut. I asked my boyfriend to take us to the vet because I don't have a car. The vet took care of the infection and gave me some antibiotics to give her every day and instructions to clean the wound that was left after the vet cleaned up the pus. For a couple of weeks I did not hang out that much with my boyfriend because I was taking care of Milo and she was not feeling that great. One thing that stood out to me was the fact that he seemed pretty pissed every time I brought her up. Looking back, that should have raised some red flags, but I guess I just brushed it off. I had planned with my mum to go on a short vacation to visit my grandparents. I was talking to my boyfriend about this trip and I told him my best friend Alex, who's 23 and a male, would take care of Milo. My boyfriend then offered to take care of her. He was mad that I didn't come to him first, stating that he loves Milo and wants to go on walks with her. I reluctantly agreed, considering this love for her was out of the blue. The trip was supposed to last for 3 days. On day 2, I was talking to my boyfriend on the phone and he casually said that Milo really likes to stay outside. For me, this felt off, and I asked him what he meant. He had left my sweet girl outside hours at a time alone and would check up on her only hourly. Mind you, I do live in an apartment and I don't have a backyard. Me and my mum left as soon as I told her and we arrived back home at around 9 p.m. Since then, I blocked my boyfriend on everything and have been searching for my girl. I have printed posters, went out every day for hours at a time and put her on Facebook groups around my area. Now, he and his friendship group say that I'm an arsehole because I've put my dog above my boyfriend in all of our 4 years of relationship. I know for a fact that this isn't true, but I don't have anyone to ask, besides people that are close to me that would be biased. So, am I the arsehole? This is the update. Hi, a lot of people asked me for an update. I should have waited until I got some rest, but you were all so helpful, you deserve to know how this ended. My ex came today to get his stuff, and some of you might be happy with what you're about to read, but he did not get a single thing back. When he saw me, he started begging me to forgive him, and thanks to you again, I agreed to forgive him if he told me the truth. But he just looked at me straight in the face and said,
"If I'm going to be honest, you won't forgive me."
My heart broke all over again, thinking about the worst of things. When he saw me cry, he told me I should get over it because she was already old. But if I wanted her back, I should get back with him, and when he trusted that I forgave him, I could see her again. I was exhausted, hopeless and angered, and even though I wanted my girl back, I could not look at him, let alone be with him for however long he thought it took me to forgive him. So he left, not telling me a single thing about Milo. I got a call some hours later, and on the other end was a lady who found Milo on the side of the road. She told me she would wait for me to come because when she wanted to pick Milo up, she seemed to be in pain. When I got there and saw her lying there, all my emotions flooded me. My sweet baby angel, even though she looked so different, was alive. She is now staying overnight at the vet. She has 2 broken ribs and is dehydrated. If everything goes well, she will be home very soon. I appreciate each and every single one of you who took the time to guide me through this nightmare. Thank you again. I will be pressing charges. And this is the last update for a while. I have pressed charges, and I now have a lawyer. I unblocked my ex like some of you said, and it was the best thing I did. He's incriminating himself, and my lawyer believes we have a chance of winning. Also, I might be able to get a protection order. His friend group has apologised. His mum is in contact with me. Milo will be home later today, and she has a very good chance of making a full recovery, at least physically. My locks will be changed tomorrow. Thank you all so much. I'm sending you and your pets the warmest hugs. This story is by someone who asked to remain anonymous. So this happened a couple of months back. I had a swimming class during PE. I used tampons, but heavily disliked swimming during my period. My mother was okay with me not joining PE that day as long as I would join in the other swimming classes when I didn't have my period. I went to school and walked up to my teacher and said something like,
"Hey, I can't swim today. I'm on my period. I'll make sure that I join next time though."
He said,
Well, why don't you just use a tampon then?
I said,
"I am, but I don't like swimming while on my period."
I thought the conversation would end there, but it didn't. He said,
Well, then you should be able to join, and you can't possibly be the 5th girl on a period today.
apparently 5 other girls, which only one of them was actually on a period, had used this as an excuse. I only know this because I asked the girls who couldn't join. He told me after that,
If you don't want to swim because you're insecure or whatever, just say that.
that kind of ticked me off. So I said,
"What? Do you want my tampon or something as proof?"
he did not like that answer. I know it was an inappropriate thing to say, but what he said just made me upset. I told him that I would make sure to join next time, which I in fact did do. When I told my mother what I said, she said it was inappropriate of me, and I should have just shut it at that point and left, while my father thought I had done the right thing. Since there was no real reason for me to lie here, since if I don't like a sport in PE, I usually just say that instead of lying. For the record, I could understand why he thought it was suspicious since 5 other girls had already told him the same thing, but the insecure comment ticked me off. So, am I the arsehole? This is a story by Significant Lab. I, 26 and female, and my fiancé Jake, 27 and male, had our engagement party last weekend. We've been together for 3 years and he proposed last month. My best friend Lisa, 26 and female, offered to help plan the party at a rooftop bar. Super chill, just close friends and fam. Everything was perfect until... Midway through the night, Lisa's boyfriend, Mark, 28 and male, grabbed the mic during the toast. I thought he was going to say congrats or whatever, but he starts his whole speech about how love is in the air and suddenly drops to one knee in front of Lisa, and everyone starts screaming, phones out, the whole thing. Lisa's crying, nodding yes, and the crowd goes wild. I'm standing there holding my champagne like, this is my engagement party. Jake's just awkwardly patting my back. Once the clapping died down, I straight up asked Mark,
"Dude, seriously? You couldn't pick literally any other day?"
He shrugged and said,
Come on, it's not like you guys need the spotlight all night.
exact words. I lost it, told him to leave, and when Lisa tried to defend him,
"You too, bye."
they left, but now half my friends are on the phone saying I overacted and should have been happy for them. Lisa texted me,
You ruined what's supposed to be the happiest moment of my life.
But like, hello? This was my moment. My mum says I was justified, but my brother says I look jealous and petty. Jake's staying neutral but thinks Mark was out of line. So, am I the arsehole for kicking them out? Should I have just let them have their moment? This is a story by Adorable Cry. I, 27-year-old female, met up with a guy, 28-year-old male, on Hinge, after only talking to him for a day. We had been messaging about the snowfall forecast, as one does when you're making small talk, and I told him I was sitting on the couch waiting for it to snow, because I'm like Lorelai Gilmore. He thought this was cute, and we got into more deep conversations. After it started snowing, I went to bed, and when I woke up, we continued talking. Well, the talking turned sexual after a while. It was early enough in the day that we continued this kind of flirtation, but talked about normal things. I then ended up inviting him over for dinner, but to get to my location, he had to send me a dick pic. And when he did, I was in absolute shock. It was huge. We had discussed not having, the first night. But when he came over, we ate dinner, drank wine, took an edible. I ended up feeling comfortable to do so. The next day, I woke up early like I normally do and let him sleep. He left and we said goodbye, so everything felt normal. Well, fast forward to today, 3 days later. I asked how he was the evening after he left, but he didn't respond. Then I spent the next 2 days stewing, wondering what I did wrong. Did I talk too much? Did he not enjoy it? Then I ended up in a rabbit hole tonight. I just simply Googled his name and found a court case where he ended up owing $10,000 for doing some type of defamation case. And he tried to defame a guy who raped a model. My jaw dropped again. Who is this dude? Then I found out he was dating one of the said models who is now an OnlyFans model. I went to her channel and just a few months ago he did a video with her and she was pregnant. Then I went to Facebook and found his previous ex, and she is also a model in the biz. I obviously won't continue going into details, but what do I do now? He responded tonight saying that he's been busy because of the snow, but I also don't know if I want to continue with him if he hasn't responded and is also possibly involved with her still. So, am I the arsehole if I slept with a criminal and have conflicting feelings? The Am I the Arsehole podcast is not affiliated with Reddit or any other online message boards. All the stories featured are narrated and produced with the author's permission. Please email me your stories to amithearseholepodcast@gmail.com if you'd like to hear your stories read in future programmes. And that's spelled AITAH podcast@gmail.com. You can also check in the show notes for the email. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Take care.